What's up, guys, and welcome back. My name is Jake Towell, and this is my art series where I share with you guys my art pieces throughout my art career. And if you haven't seen the last two episodes, I'm starting to share illustrations for my I Spy book, Robot the Interdimensional Robber, which you can see on screen here. Last video, if you haven't seen that, go check that out. That was the first seek and find, hide and seek, I Spy illustration page that I did, and that was in Egypt themed. Now today, we have another very, very special piece, and this is medieval times themed, and this piece is called The Medieval Maze. And you can kind of see the page up on screen right now. You can see the artifacts. Again, a video coming out after I share all the illustrations in this book as a whole, going in depth into the book. And of course, if you like this book and you're sold already, link in the description down below. You can get a copy of this book for yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into the sketch phase. So here you can see once again the sketch phase. You know, this one isn't very solid. I definitely didn't know where exactly I wanted to put things. As you can see, there's green highlighted things, which are the actual artifacts you're looking to find. Spoiler alert. But overall, you know, it's not a super clean sketch phase, but that's okay. The fully rendered looks absolutely dope. Nothing too crazy to talk about here. There is quite a bit of changes from this to the fully rendered piece, but we'll get into that at the end of the video when we talk about the fully rendered image. As far as the sketch phase goes, pretty solid. So let's get right into the line work phase. Okay, yeah, I mean, I majorly cleaned up the line work there from the sketch phase. This looks super good. Everything's super fitting in its areas, in its place, and just filled to the brim to make it really hard to find those artifacts. And I think this page was actually one of the harder pages to actually find the artifacts, but the most fun to navigate through. Not the most fun, but one of the most fun to navigate through. Overall, I think the line work super clean here. Nothing I can really say about it. I'm really glad everything fit in from the sketch phase pretty solidly. Nothing's overlapping, too gross, not too many tangents, which I would pat myself on the back for generally for my art when I'm doing pieces like this. But regardless, pretty cool. Lots of really cool like medieval themed aspects in this one. So let's get right into the fully rendered image. This piece, I just love the colors in this one. And I think overall, like going for a medieval theme, and again, like I talked about in the last episode, the colors and the items I chose to kind of evoke the time period, evoke the theme that I was going for, was super successful. And obviously this isn't the real medieval times, but there's so many things that are in this piece that are medieval themed. So like, for example, we have a dragon here, and I guess that's where we'll start. We have this really cool dragon, and he's coming from this like medieval knight shield, and the shield looks pretty cool. I really like the color choices there, but the shield's got like a fleshy inside, and coming out of it is this dragon like neck kind of winding around, again illustrated with those rings, which was really hot for me back in the day, up to the dragon head. And this dragon head has a lot of really cool things going on within him. We got his teeth. One of his tooth overgrew and then went through his own lip, but we got this other one, and that's actually one of the artifacts, spoiler alert again, hanging off his tooth, which blends in really well. Coming out his left eyeball is his eyeball going through his own brain, which is being stabbed through by this medieval king crown from this guy right here, but we'll get to that dude later. Coming out of his right eyeball is this like misty cloud creature. I think in every, and I'm not actually positive, but I think in every single piece I have some sort of cloud, some sort of smoke monster of some variant, and they're all different colors on every piece, which is actually a really cool thing that just kind of ties all the pieces together. Despite, you know, my style being so distinct, tying itself together inherently, I added this smoky monster effect on every one of these pieces. So keep an eye out for those. And if you haven't seen the one in the last video, go check that out. But anyways, that's the dragon. That's pretty cool. You can't have a medieval times without the dragon. Another really cool thing that like kind of conveyed the medieval times is like this like mace, pointy metal, castle like stabby illustrations. And I think this bottom right, I think I was going for a castle kind of silhouette here, was really successful. You can see it's a monster too. It's got a giant mouth down here, but just adding like the medieval tower-esque silhouettes with the spikes definitely conveyed that. You can kind of see it down here. Again, I don't want to miss anything. This was a really cool aspect of it. We got a lot of eyeballs winding around and in and out. You can see this eyeball is actually going in, out, down, around, out through the soil coil of the grass at the bottom of the screen here and wrapping around another artifact, which is pretty cool. And then we just have the other eyeball going up and around and stabbed with this spike. And you can see these spikes are actually coming from this ball, this mace ball spike hanging from the top bit of this castle. And you see it's winding up and around through the dragon himself, bouncing off the shield, ting, through, oh my god, why do I keep clicking? Through this eyeball back around. So self-damage, up and around, looped, ricocheted, and hit his own eyeball. And then we have this other one that kind of just stuck through the other eyeball. Easy enough, right? Moving up, this thing kind of defies gravity in a way. Another spike kind of going up and around through the tongue and mouth of this other bit of the castle, this upper part of the castle, bouncing off this shield that the smoke guy's wearing, which is pretty cool, and through the castle itself. So that was a pretty sharp, stabby bit or spear or point, if you will. And then kind of moving up, I guess we can talk about the cloud now. The cloud's got like armor, which is pretty cool. Like I gave this smoky dude some armor. So we had some armor piece there, armor piece there, armor piece there, kind of continuing with the theme of the shield here, which is pretty cool. So it all matches, and that's really nice. I know this sword comes from somewhere. I'm gonna have to try to find, oh, there it is. So there's this little hole here, and you can see the hilt of the sword that's going up and stabbing through the tongue of the smoke guy into the smoke, but actually comes back up out of the top of the screen and goes through this like fleshy balloon guy. Also has a mouth and teeth, and he's wearing another one of the artifacts there, which is like an artist hat. And then, I forget exactly, this is so stupid how I forgot, but I forget exactly what artist of the medieval era this hat is supposed to be belonging to, but I also have this art piece here that he's working on, which is a cool little thematical thing, just to kind of help the viewer find this artist's hat. And it's cool that he's painting in blood because he's getting shivved, but that's just a really cool little thing that I bet people missed, and I'm really proud of how that turned out. Some more shields, wrapping around, but that's mostly the castle here to the smoke monster. We got some coins at the bottom, some skulls, and moving up to probably one of my favorite parts of this piece, like this weird tubular. I don't know if you guys seen my past video, Pirate Chamber. We kind of have these like tubular illustrations of these guys, and I definitely kind of pulled from that and made this like kinged crowned circular guy, which is pretty cool, and he kind of extends up past his crown with another castle silhouette. But let's talk more about him. He's got two arms here. One arm's wrapping around the shield and actually holding the shield, and then the other arm's kind of going through some chain loops, another artifact there, down and holding a sword, which is pretty cool. That's actually impaling his cheek and going in his mouth. And then we also has his tongue dripping down, which is actually going through a spike on his like collar and also getting looped through a ring right there at the bottom as well. Moving up the crown, we have that silhouetted castle bit, and I think that looks really cool. I don't know, it kind of looks like a sword end or something, or like an extension of his crown, but you can definitely tell it's coming from the inside of him, which is pretty cool. We got his eyeballs down there as well. But this castle silhouette's actually really cool because I added like those really long medieval flags, but it's more or less a tongue. It's like, because I have this tongue right here, same illustration colors, but I have this like flag-like tongue, which is really cool, and it's kind of going down through this like fleshy bit in the middle and down through this mouth, and it's bleeding because all these spikes are being stabbed. But that's honestly, I don't know, I kind of twisting my style with the medieval times and themes, and I think that's just a really successful area right there in general. Popping out of that castle is that flag at the top, which you always need some flags in the medieval times. More eyeballs wrapping around, up and around, and then we have a unicorn. But we'll get to the unicorn. Coming out of this like chalice is another hand, and it's holding these like really long spear. If you've seen like jousting, this is like a jousting spear, and he's also alive. He's got some mouth, some eyeballs, some teeth. It kind of goes all the way up to the top. In the middle is like this bucket hat knight armor kind of sitting on the jousting stick, and the jousting stick's going up through the armor, through the brain that this jousting stick has, and in the inside is another artifact that you are looking to find, which is just, honestly, it's pretty obvious, but it's just in a really good spot. And I put the helmet within the helmet, and I think that's like one of the kings, like Henry III's helmet, which is pretty cool. So that's really cool that I hit it in there. But going up, the jousting stick actually opens up at the top, and a unicorn, of course, medieval times, comes out the top. And what's really cool about this unicorn is his own horn kind of replicates the jousting stick, just to kind of further insinuate that this unicorn is one with this jousting stick. Like, I always try to connect everything, interlope everything, but that is the medieval times piece from my book, Medieval Maze. If there's any aspects in this piece that I didn't talk about that you liked, leave a comment down below. Of course, I have prints out of this piece. If you guys want a copy of this piece printed out, it looks really cool displayed. I, of course, have this displayed in my home as well. Link in the description down below. Again, if you like this video, leave a like. I'm sharing the art pieces from my illustration book, so if you want to go check out the book, get one for yourself in the description down below also. And if you enjoyed this video and videos like this, check out my channel and consider subscribing. I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.